It is time for us to reclaim our identity and call ourselves what we feel comfortable with, so other people cannot come and tether themselves to our struggle, our fight, and our advancement that our ancestors died and struggled for. If you want to do something else, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you about what you choose to call yourself, but do not write or accept African American anymore. We are not African American, and I don't know what Jesse Jackson was thinking back then, because we've never really liked the term anyway. What we need to do is, on a nationwide level, we need to petition the courts, petition the census, submit what we need to do legally to the government to change our name. We no longer want to be called African American.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's broadcast, Ask, Seek, and Knock, where we are trying to entice you to dig deeper into the Word so you can find who you are and what we are doing here. I want to welcome everybody who's coming on this live, and thank you guys for joining us. And for those of you who will be watching this later, please hit the like button, hit the share button, and hit the notification button so you'll be brought aware of the next live that's coming forth. Today, we can go on and deal with what we see on the screen. We'll see it show the screen. We're going to do with the Forerunners of the Awakening. The Forerunners of the Awakening. Now, for those of you who know what the Awakening is, the Awakening started a long time ago. That's back when our ancestors, Moses brought our people out of Egypt. But we want to come back to the Forerunners of the Awakening during the diaspora, after the scattering that happened when the tribes was brought over. There were people who came over here who knew who they were. There were people who came over here on the slave ships who knew who they were, who still had their identity, and it was beaten out of them. So what we want to talk about today are those people, such as those, and we're going to start with the one that I want to pick up first, because it's, I guess in my mind, it was sort of special for me, because back when I was a young minister getting started in church, I remember watching this gentleman all the time on TV, because he was a articulate minister. He taught the faith word, and I was deep into that genre, and I got something out of everything he taught. And all of a sudden, his ministry shift, and it's back. I would say, so around 1990. I'm trying to see what this incident probably happened somewhere back in 1996, 97, some of that area. Something happened in his ministry that shook him to his core, and he started changing his whole program. In fact, he went a year and a half, or maybe a couple years, teaching on one topic. He shut down all his ministry because he was teaching strongly on the faith, the word of faith. He came out of the Rhema movement, and Dr. Fred Price started teaching on race, religion, and racism. And I remember hearing that for the first time. I think about that time I was just coming out of college, and I was getting involved in ministry, and I remember talking about it with some of my people at church, and I went to a multicultural church, and you get different views, because some people say, well, he's going too much, and other people say, yeah, I understand what he's talking about, because we dealt with it every day. So today we're going to talk a little bit about it. In fact, I'm going to bring up some of the clips of some of the things he dealt with. First, I'm going to look and see who I need to say hello to on today. All right. Thank you, guys. But we're going to make sure that those things are dealt with. First of all, let's go straight to the first sermon. In fact, around 1995, what was happening in the church during that time? Those of you who remember the church at the time, we were going through a lot of changes. Some of the big ministries were getting shook. A lot of people were getting investigated. Let's just watch this clip.
I have sinned against you, my Lord.
Okay, TV evangelists can be a little over the top, but Creflo Dollar's appeal for a private jet may take the cake.
We are believing for 200,000 people to give contributions of $300 US or more.
Doing the math, that's $60 million. The head of the World Changers megachurch in Atlanta asked for the donations in this almost 6-minute video, dubbed Project G650, as in Gulfstream 650. Dollar's already a high flyer.
We're about to land in Nairobi, Kenya.
But it seems his current jet, built in 1984, is showing its age. Engine trouble on a flight to Australia, and more recently, when his wife and daughters were taking off from London, it went off the runway.
It's not like a car where you can pull over on the side when something goes wrong. And I knew it was time to begin to believe God for a new airplane.
It didn't take long for the story of the Jesus jet, as some have dubbed it, to take off, and not in a good way. This woman is a former parishioner. She showed up Sunday to protest, but got told to leave church property.
Creflo didn't have a jet when I was here, and now he has one, and he's asking for another one.
But parishioner Mary Jones, who takes the bus to church, says she'd happily give to Dollar's jet drive.
Most definitely, most definitely. We support our pastor. That's what we're here for.
Dollar asks parishioners to give 10% of their income to the church, but gives no public accounting of how the millions are spent. MinistryWatch.com is a website that helps donors tell, financially, the good from the bad.
We have in the past identified 30 of the top ministries and 30 of the worst ministries. Unfortunately, Creflo Dollar fell onto the worst category. And the main reason for that was the lack of financial transparency.
To find out more of how Dollar wants to spend his dollars.
All right, guys, that was one of the clips from that time when this going on, because Creflo Dollar just one of the many people who started teaching. And because of the way things were taught to us in the church, remember, we dealt with the church and the foundation of the church in part 1 and part 2, and we showed how the church was built off a bad foundation. If the foundation's bad, everything else is going to be bad. So what we need to make sure I got that. Yep, I'm still on. I had to make sure I was on, guys, because last time I didn't. We had a little some difficulty. But when the foundation is bad, everything else is bad. And you end up having people preaching everything but what they need to be preaching. In fact, you have some people who look like us preaching self-hate. Preaching self-hate. Like this gentleman.
Seriously considering a run for the office of mayor of the city of New York. I'm seriously considering it for various reasons. Main is I believe that the biggest theft, the greatest robbery in the history of the world has been the robbery of Black people's property through gentrification here in New York City in particular, but across America in general. And also I desire the opportunity to stand against what I believe one of the most corrupt mayors since Jimmy Walker and Ed Koch in the city of New York by Mayor Eric Adams, who is in a ton of, if you will, criminal corruption, hot water. I don't know how he's going to survive, or even if he will be able to run in 2020.
This is Pastor James Davison, Pastor James David Manning. And he has been in a lot of controversy. In fact, I showed a clip of him before, preaching that like Africa didn't have anything. It wasn't for the white man coming over there. They and he said a lot of outrageous stuff. If you can read the sign behind him, I'm trying to blow it up a little bit. Just gonna zoom in on it. No, it won't zoom in. If you can read the sign behind it, then it will show you that Black men, I'm trying to read it for you. is the black man hating will finally have power to take America from. He's I think he's preaching something about voting for Trump. But anyway, that's not the issue. But the fact is, he's preached several sermons against our own people. Why is that, ladies and gentlemen? Think about the family. Why do we have people who look like us who are preaching against us and call themselves ministers of the gospel? We need help. And that's just one of the reasons why I'm so thankful for people like the gentleman you see on the screen right now, because we need people like him who wake up and see a problem and stand on it no matter what it costs them. Let's get into the sermon. Back in 95, in fact, let me play this. I got to get my clips ready. When Dr. Price started teaching, he reminded me of this movie.
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And all he offered was the truth, nothing more. Let's listen to the sermon that kicked that whole year's worth of teaching race, religion, and racism in the church from Dr. Price.
And we've got to do that with this issue of racism. We've got to go back. And people say, well, why you want to go back? Why can't we just let it alone? That's what the devil keeps saying. Just let it alone. And then that way we never find out why the thing started, so we can't ever deal with it. We just want to wash it under, push it under the bed. We got to bring this turkey out in the open. It's unpleasant. I don't like it. But I like less being disobedient to my God who gave me the assignment to do it. Okay, so I want to play this again. I hope, were you able to hear that? All right, play the tape and be prepared to stop it.
I can't tell your kids who to go with and who not to go date. Not my responsibility. If you don't want your kids dating somebody, then you control it. But you control it a long time before they ever get to be dating age.
Now, did you hear that? See, this is where all this garbage comes from. See, I realize, and I said this before, all of you that are listening to me now, black or white, you didn't start it, and I didn't start it. But we all are the result of how we have been brought up. And certain things have been planted in the minds of people when they were children. Some things directly and some things subliminally. And this stuff has come up in us, and when we see certain things, like Pavlov's dog, you ring the bell and the dog salivates. There ain't even nothing to salivate about, but he's been conditioned by conditioned response that when he hears the bell, he salivates whether he sees any food or not. And so some people salivate when they see a black face, they salivate, and they do it because they've been conditioned, and it starts at the home. I hope you heard what he said. You do it a long time before they become dating age. Now, there are a lot of people that got upset with me some time ago when I made this statement, and I realize it's not everybody, and I'm not saying that it's everybody. Give me enough credit for having that much sense, but it's too many, and the ones that perhaps don't haven't said anything about the ones that do, so that gives the ones that do the license to think they're right in continuing to do it because the others won't say anything about it. But white people, as a group, train their children. It starts in the house. It's not in the gene. It's not genetic.
Now, his sermon started because I think his son was and I made sure somebody trying to date somebody from his church that he did fellowship with. In fact, he was part of the ministry, and this minister. Let's see, can I get this picture up here for you? You can see. This minister caught wind of it and did not like it. So he went on a series of preaching and preached this sermon where he's playing the tape. This minister right here didn't like it. Kenneth W. Hagin Jr. So the person, when you hear the tape, this is who you hear talking right now. And he's going to stop and give commentation, and I'm going to stop too. So let's go back to the tape.
Now, that's not everybody. I know that. That's not everybody, and I'm not saying it's everybody. But you know what? It did not take every person who was a German and a citizen of Germany way back when Adolf Hitler came to power. It didn't take but one man to slaughter millions of innocent people. So it's not about the fact that we're saying it's everybody. It doesn't have to be everybody. Can be just enough to start a war and to annihilate and extinguish the lives of 6 million people, plus all the other millions that they don't even talk about them as though they don't even count. We only remember the Holocaust, the Jews that were destroyed. What about all the other people? What about the people in Poland? What about the people in Hungary? What about all those other people that lost their lives and lost everything they had? Nobody ever thinks about them. They don't even count.
You talk about we're friends. We can be friends with everybody. We are not prejudiced, but we are not going to date this group of people. It's not in our culture to do it. We're not going to do it.
This group of people. Now, this is a white pastor preaching to a church that had some of us in it, this group of people.
Now, see, my only thing is this. That's fine with me. You don't want to date. But there is a certain thing in my mind called cause and effect. And for every effect, there's a cause. And the effect is we don't date these people. That's the effect. Got to be a cause. I want to know why not. And we just read all the scriptures about honesty. If you're honest, you got to tell me why not. Why not? God didn't have a problem with it. Why do you?
If you want to, there's no problem with that. That's fine. You're not a racist. You're not prejudiced just because you set down those kind of rules. Hello? If you want, I'm walking deep, that's right. But if you want mix, fine. If you want it, that's fine. But if you don't want it, then you control it. And you don't have to be a racist about it. And I'm not afraid to talk about it because I've got 30% of a different black in this congregation.
See, the whole thing is black. See, it's this black and white thing. See, he said we got all these other people, but he didn't talk about the Hispanics. He didn't mention the Hispanics. He didn't mention the Asian, only the black. I hope you're picking up on this. I'm dealing with a symptom here. I'm not dealing with the man. I'm dealing with a symptom, but he represents something. When you're a leader and you stand in the pulpit and minister to people, somebody's going to believe that what you say is from God. And that's how this crap got the way it is now, because of so-called leaders and ministers getting up talking this kind of stuff.
Now, this is where it all started, ladies and gentlemen. Fred Price was one of the first people to stand up and saying, when you start teaching racism from the pulpit, people are going to believe this stuff is from God. People are going to internalize self-hate. Some of us are going to internalize self-hate and pick up some of the stuff that has been said. Now, he's dealing with interracial dating. I'm not talking anything about that. But the fact is, He's putting us on different levels. He's teaching something that he have in this pastor who Fred Price is addressing. It's just regurgitating, vomiting on his congregation, stuff that's been in his heart, his parents passed down, their parents passed down, and the way we've been in this country. And this is why we're in the mindset we are today.
Nobody challenging them. That day's over. Day's over.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. All right. Roll the tape.
Talk to many of them. Talk to the men about it. Talk to about it. I've talked to a lot of these people about it. And they all understand where I'm coming from.
I do too.
We got some beautiful mixed marriages in our congregation, but I have talked to them also, and they have not been without their problems.
Now, isn't that something? See, here's what he's saying. He's saying that only mixed marriages have marital problems. So if you stay within your so-called ethnicity and only marry people of your kind, you're not going to have any marital problems. Give it a rest. A marital problem is a marital problem. I don't give a care if it's a financial problem, a sexual problem, a wife beating problem, a husband beating problem, a molesting of kids problem, a drug problem, an alcohol problem, whatever it is, a gambling problem, it's still a problem and it can wreck a marriage. Give it a rest. They have not been without their problem. I don't know of any married couple that haven't been without their problem. What's that got to do with anything? Come on. Come on.
Hello? Come on, people. Let's get our head out of the sand. And I'll get accused again like I always do that I'm against mixed marriage. I did not say I was against mixed marriage.
Now, I want you to hear this carefully because this is awesome. He said, I am not against mixed marriage. Did you hear him say that? Or did I miss this? He said, I'm not against mixed marriage. Well, then if you're not, there should be nothing else to say about it. Hey, if you're not against it, you must be for it.
Up to you, but if you don't want your kids involved in it, then you're the one that has to do something about it, not the church.
Yeah, that's it, not the church. If the church doesn't have an influence on how you live your life and raise your kids, what on God's green earth is the church and the Bible good for? I have always been a very sexually active person. I enjoy my sexual encounters with my wife immensely. I like sex with my wife. But I have had many offers since I have been married to my wife from other women that are not my wives. And my body wanted to do so because my body, like your body, has never yet been born again. Only our spirits have been changed. But the Bible, because it influences my life, tells me that that's adultery and that's against God, and God doesn't like it. So I tell my body, no, you're not going to do that. My point is that if the church and the Bible are not going to have any influence on your actions and your thoughts, I mean, I don't understand that. Roll the tape.
And just because you change churches, it's not going to help the problem. Some people say, well, we'll change churches. No, we'll move away. We'll go somewhere else and start all over. No, it's not. You're not. You're just going to take the problem with you.
I didn't know that it was a problem. God never says it's a problem. Why is it a problem? It's only a problem when you object to it. But just because you object to it doesn't make it wrong.
Hello? Many years ago, I was in the kindergarten.
We beat out the name of the child. See, many years ago, when was in kindergarten, that's where the garbage started. That's where it started. A little young, impressionable mind, like a piece of raw clay.
We came home. This young little man was there. Nice young man.
But black.
We just talked to him. We said, hey, look, we friends, we play. We go together as a group, but we don't date one another. I mean, we started in kindergarten.
Now, I want you to remember when they started. Now, can you imagine what kind of message does it send to that little innocent child? Obviously, that child is going to begin to think that there's something wrong with those people. That's how it starts. Subliminally. That's how it starts. And every time they see one of those people, that sends a message that there must be something wrong with those people. And really, there must be something wrong with them. When you tell us we can go together as groups, we can play together, but we just don't date one another, and we don't mix our race. So that sends a message that there must be something wrong with that race.
Hello? That just was our rules. Now, once somebody gets up and they get of age, they get to be 21, 18, then they can choose to do what they want to. You ain't got no choice. You can't do nothing about it. They're on their own. I tell you what, the Bible says if you train a child up the way you want it to go, when it gets old, it won't depart.
Now, this man, let me tell you this. This man was raised on the Bible.
Yeah.
This man didn't just get saved 3 weeks before he preached that sermon. He's been around the Word of God probably before he was born. It was almost in the genes, if you would.
Again, this is somebody that he knows, and he's talking about. And I'm gonna put his picture back up here so we all know. I'm gonna take mine down, so you know he's talking about. He was raised in the Word because his father started the Rhema Bible church movement out there in Broken Arrow. So, as Dr. Price said, he knew the Word. He knew what he was doing. And what he was saying is he was sharing and using the word wrongly to justify his point and stance by being unequally yoked. Now we know that to be people who are not serving the Most High, being yoked to people who are from other tribe. That is what the words talk about. But for how many years since you've been in church, if you grew up in church, that's been used against us. How the word was weaponized against us. Let's go and hear what Dr. Price had to say.
And that was not a mistake, because you can tell by the context of everything that he said. It fits right in. See, he says, you train up a child in the way you want it to go. That's unscriptural. The Bible does not say that. The Bible says you train up in a child the way he should go, which is God's way, not your racist, prejudice way.
Now I'm gonna challenge each one of you. Now I have this whole series on my YouTube page, and I'm gonna make it available if you want to go through and check it out yourself. But what you need to do is, this is the first part of this series. This is I think sermon number 3. Look at the numbers of his crowd. The stadium is packed. It's packed. Now, if you look at the crowd, if you get to like sermon number 10 and sermon number 15 and 20 in this series, the crowd got a little thin. And the people that it was behind him, because he got into some deep waters about how racism was deep into Christianity, and it filtered how people were preaching and teaching here in America. And a lot of people didn't like that.
Train up a child in the way you want it to go. That's exactly why we had a problem. If you train the child up in the way of God, it wouldn't be no problem with racism. You got the problem and you pass that icky disease onto your children.
Wobble around a while, but it'll come back. Hello? You say, well, my Lord soul, Pastor, you talking heavy. I am, and I've gotten close to air conditioning because I'm sweating like everything. But I tell you something. I just decided that if I'm gonna teach on it, I'm gonna turn over every stone there is. Like it or lump it.
Now, isn't that interesting? He said, I decided that if I'm going to teach on it, I'm going to turn over every stone. Now, why are you getting on my case for turning over every stone? See that? That's all right for him.
And I want to just let you know that I did drop the link here. So if anybody want to jump on and say anything, that if they were around and heard this when he was preaching and had experienced any of how people took this sermon, if you know what I'm talking about, jump on and share.
So you see, to me then, that could not be just an offhand remark. He said I decided if I'm going to teach on it, I'm going to turn over every stone. So that's not just a off-the-cuff, spontaneous, extemporaneous statement. It's got to be premeditated. I decided if I'm going to teach on it, I'm going to turn over every rock.
Amen or oh me. Now, I'm going to tell you what, I'm white and I'm saying this, so a lot of people, yeah, he's white. Hey, we have had a lot of the black parents that have come to us. And I say, we don't like this. We don't want this. How do we stop it? Hello? Same way we do. Hello? That we enjoy fellowship with one another, that we can go together as groups, we can live and work together. We just don't go with one another, and we just don't mix our races. Now you say, I hear some of you. That's fine. I want to tell you what, people. There's only, what did you say, how many percent? Huh? There's only 13% of the population that is of your color. If we continue to mix it, you ain't going to be none of you left. There ain't nobody going to be able to say, black is beautiful. They're going to have to say, mixed is beautiful. I don't mean that.
What's wrong with mixed? I mean, if you want it, you know, so what's so bad about mixed?
Oh, I don't think that we ought to mix any of these races. That's my personal.
Oh, go ahead. That's my personal opinion.
Okay?
Stop. Now, my personal opinion. Where do opinions come from? anybody's opinion. Opinions come from observation, association, and teaching. They're formed out of the crucible of those three. How can you be a minister of the gospel and minister, supposedly be ministering life to people, and have an opinion that goes contrary to the Bible, and then have the audacity to express it publicly? You don't think we ought to mix any of the races. Poor old God didn't know that. I don't think we ought to mix any races. Why not? Out of one blood, God made all men for to dwell on the face of the whole earth. What's the problem? Okay, go ahead.
I didn't tell you not to do it, and I'm not going to throw you out if you have.
But I'm just going to put you on a guilt trip. No, I didn't tell you not to do it, and I'm not going to throw you out, but I'm going to put you on a guilt trip because your pastor doesn't think we ought to mix any of the races. What kind of message are you sending to people?
But I'm talking about an issue that we have a problem with, not just in church, and some of you that don't even know about it, because, my Lord, my wife said, quit. It is a problem that is being had all over the United States.
Now, he admits there's a problem. But it's not a racism problem. It's not a color, ethnic prejudice problem. It's an intermarriage problem. It's mixing that inferior black blood with the superior white blood. That's the real issue.
Just in case you didn't hear that.
United States.
Now, he admits there's a problem. But it's not a racism problem. It's not a color, ethnic prejudice problem. It's an intermarriage problem. It's mixing that inferior black blood with the superior white blood. That's the real issue.
Now, when Dr. Price said this, it shook the church community. Big ministries were up in arms about this sermon. And this, like I said, this was week number 3. He continued to go again and again and again and get deeper. In fact, he preached on certain, he caused Drake Bible and Schofield Bible to change some of the inserts in the notes in their Bible because they came from racist views that the original author of the Bibles had about segregation and things they had about race. Because somebody stood up, somebody got to say this is not right. Now, I said that he was a forerunner because it shook the church that made people start thinking. In fact, one of the brothers I had on the show, well, he would be on the show with me. It was came on the show. He has a program called I remember the program now. I think I got it up here. But anyway, he was in his ministry. He started his ministry in this church. And him and I was talking about this when this happened and how it shaped his belief. Because most of us, I hear many people give their testimony. When I came into the awakening, I was in church and this happened, and I was this church and this happened. And right around 2019, something happened. Right around the COVID time, something happened. But I believe that the Most High was speaking to us to wake us up, even back when these things happened. Because back then, everybody was okay. It was a peacetime, and everybody was nice and everything. But everything started shifting. The atmosphere started shifting in. And let's go to the word a bit for them. I'll come back to this, but let's go to the word. This is some of the things I think happened to cause the atmosphere to shift. Let's get a listen to this one.
Baruch 2:30-32. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Yahweh, their Elohim. For I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name
In the land of their captivity, they would hear me. In the land of their captivity, they would hear me. The Most High had to shake us up so we can hear his voice. In the land of our captivity. I'm going to play that one more time.
Baruch 2:30-32. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. Baruch 2:30-32. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Yahweh, their Elohim. For I will give them a heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name.
And this is what we know, bro, that something happened to each one of us, that the Most High spoke to you wherever you were. If you were not in church, most people I came in contact with, they were in church, or they would just they would just had to stay home because of COVID or whatever, and things just happened to shake them. And if that's your testimony, say put a 1 in the chat so I know that's you. In fact, I'm opening the floor. If anybody want to give a testimony, you can come on and share. But it took people like Dr. Price to start showing us how Christianity was shaped in a racist point of view, and was shaped to twist and change the mindset. In fact, he goes in and talks about how the Christianity that came in. I think it was sermon number 8, how it formed our minds that we were submitted to things that make us all think that we were less than. And that's sort of putting us in the mind of, you remember the movie The Matrix, that you're in the Matrix, but you're not part of the Matrix. That you're walking around. You remember that scene when Morpheus took Neo and showing him how everything was, and he was in that scene, and he was saying that you're looking around with everybody, and Neo got sidetracked by somebody he saw or something he saw. He said, "Be careful of that, because if they're not one of us, they're one of them." Yeah, that's the thing.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. When you're
a system
inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and
the very mind of people that you want to save. Some of you that right now you're praying for the Most High to reach out to your family, and reach out to your neighbors, and reach out to those you love, so they and wake them up. And you try to share with them, but they reject you or not listen to you. That's okay. The spirit of the Most High will wake them up, just like it woke you up. And remember, they're still part of this system. That's the Babylon system that we have to come out of.
that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was. Look again. Reason.
This isn't the Matrix.
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
What are they?
Sentient programs. They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means that anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the Matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one.
We have survived by hiding from them, by running from them. But they are the gatekeepers.
They are the gatekeepers. They are the gatekeepers. And the good news is, people are waking up. People all over are coming to their senses, and they're hearing the truth, and they're deciding to hear who we are. And people are are starting to give testimonies. People who not don't, that's funny. There's people who are not melanated are waking up. I'm gonna play some of these testimonies I'm hearing all the time. See, I pull up one of them up for you. Hey, sis, how you doing?
Hey, bro.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? Sorry,
All
I'm on
right.
late.
That's okay. That's okay. We're going over some of the forerunners of the awakening, and I don't know how much you heard.
I only looked just a little bit. Just popped on. I saw you was on. I heard him popped on.
Oh yeah, we just got through. I mean, in fact, we're going back and forth from one of the people I was focused on being one of the forerunners is Dr. Fred Price.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And how he was going along preaching faith and all this and prosperity, and then something happened at his church, and he went on a whole year and a half, 2 years, preaching race, religion, and racism.
Yes, he did.
Shook Christianity.
Yes, he did.
You remember that? You remember that time, right?
I remember that. I used to watch him faithfully. So I remember
You too.
all those sermons he did, and when that shift happened, and it shifted everybody in the entire congregation and around the world. That's when they started coming after him.
Thank you.
Yep, I remember that distinctively.
And this gentleman, he was who he played his sermons again.
Yep. Huh? Yes, indeed. That was exciting times.
It was something that for me, because at that time I was just out of college and I just got into changed my lifeline, got into church, got into ministry. I was fresh into doing a bit of youth pastor, and everything was great. I mean, I'm thinking everything's good. We passed it. Me thinking everything's great. I'm going to graduate in a couple of years. I'm going to get on into ministry. Everything fine. And he came out and started teaching. I said, "Wait a minute, this is different." I'm used to him coming and saying, "Hey, how to walk in faith and believe this and some stuff he used to preach."
Right. The usual, right.
Yeah.
The usual doctrine, the
And
prosperity doctrine.
and I
Yes.
went to some of my friends. Now, most of my friends weren't melanated. I said, "Did you hear Price?" Because they were listening too. Yeah, he's a little off now. I said, "What off?
Yeah.
Why do you think he's off?" Because it's almost. I keep telling this analogy. It's like telling a right-handed person how to feel to be a left-handed person living in this world. You
Correct.
can't find left-handed gloves. You can't find left-handed golf clubs. You can't find left-handed nothing because everything's built for right-handed people.
Correct.
And they couldn't understand what Dr. Price was talking about.
Well, remember from last night when we were on We Woke Now, we discussed this. This is the anti-Christos movement.
Yes.
But anything that goes against the doctrine that has been embedded into our brains and into our DNA, because it is in our DNA, because we're born into it by our parents, it's anti. So when you shift and started trying to dig and seek the truth, they look at you as anti, but it's them who's anti.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many times family members and friends, well, do you not believe in the Bible anymore? I said, no, I'm teaching the Bible to you. How can I be against the Bible when I'm teaching the Bible? I'm just not teaching it like you have been taught. That's the difference. And that's what Pastor Price did. He started reading the book.
And I
It's a
love the way you like that. I'm not teaching the way you talk. You're teaching it from a more clear point of view.
yes, he's reading it from a Hebraic understanding as the book was written. That's why we have to take you back to the primitive words of where the book was written from to get clearer understanding and take the shields from our eyes that we had been given to read this in a Christianity doctrine matrix of understanding. The indoctrination that we have been given by the scriptures and what it's saying is not what it's saying.
Exactly.
And so when you go against that, you become anti for them. But they are the ones who are anti.
And that
So
goes
that's
along
what
with
they,
go
right.
ahead,
Go ahead.
sis.
No, go
That
ahead.
goes over what the word says that it's gonna be a coming time where people are gonna come against us and think they're doing God's work
Yes.
of God.
Yes. Exactly.
We the Most High calls us to be set apart.
Correct. And they are doing God's work. The God of who they believe in, which
That's
is
right.
Christianity. The God of Christianity. That is not the Most High. That is not Elohim. That is not Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
And I had a revelation earlier today. I was on the phone talking to Pastor Kelly, and we were discussing last night. And I said, now it makes sense why Yahweh chose Moses to come to him for him to go teach the children of Israel the commandments again, because they were indoctrinated into
Egypt.
Egyptology.
Yes.
And he had to bring them back to what was taught in the garden. Because remember now, it's these commandments was given to Adam.
Right.
The same commandments. He broke them and got kicked out the garden for consequences of his actions. But he came back to the commandments and continued. What happened? His son, Cain, went against the commandments and it started over again. Even when he got to Noah, his son broke the commandments. So we had
That's
to bring
awesome.
them all back to the word of what he wrote in the commandments to get them out the cultures that we had been around. And look what's going on now. We have taken on everybody's culture.
Exactly. We
And they
try to
have to
be
come.
like everybody else around us.
Yes, they not like us. No, you like them. Let's get it straight. They not like us
And
because
you're
you
right.
like them.
The commandments went way before Moses. Commandments
Yes.
way before Abraham.
Yes.
When the Most High first had his communion with Adam,
Adam.
he instructed Adam how to walk, how to exist.
Exactly.
Adam walked with
Exactly.
him daily.
Exactly.
And from Adam down to Noah, because it was passed down from lineage to lineage. It was passed down from lineage to lineage verbally.
Correct.
And Noah walked the way he was taught to walk by his father.
Right.
And Noah passed down to his sons. And
Correct.
it went down to Abram, come to
Mm-hmm.
Abraham, and
Right.
he did it.
Correct.
Until it came to the point, so he said, "Wait, these stiff-necked people, I'm about to write it down for them,
Right.
because they're not getting it." Because
No.
you can find sacrifice back down to Adam. They had a sacrifice for their sins.
Right.
Wow.
Correct.
So but see, you're not gonna find out. Nobody gonna tell you that in the Christendom, in the church. So that's why it'd be easy for people to teach. Well, we're not under the law anymore. The law is
Right.
no longer. No, this is a new covenant. This is a new contract.
Right.
Contract's not new.
No. No.
Same partners,
Right.
same people.
Same everything.
Exactly. Now some amendments been added. He came in and brought another high priest to take care of the other ones, because the other high priests had to take care of themselves. They couldn't keep themselves out of sin.
No.
So he gave us the Most High, the Messiah. Now he's
Right.
our high priest.
Yes. And what did he do? He taught the same commandments.
Yes.
That's the part we miss. He is not Torah. He's teaching Torah. The same Torah.
And that's one of the things I like when Dr. Price was preaching, when he was talking. He was saying that some of these preachers are preaching the Bible and twisting it to teach their own racist point of view,
Right.
not the Torah point of view, their own racist point of view.
Correct. Exactly.
I'm gonna play a bit more before I go to the next thing. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go on mute for a moment.
Okay.
Okay.
have been assigned the task. And then, I hope you noticed it. Then he said, my wife said to quit. Now I want to know that if he was talking about fornication, I wonder would she have told him to quit. I wonder if he had been talking about adultery, would she have told him to quit? I wonder if he was talking about child beating and child abuse, would she have said for him to quit? I wonder if he had been talking about abortion, would she have told him to quit? Why? He just said that we have a problem all over America, and she tells him to stop talking about the problem. No, I don't think so. I think the real issue is that they're letting the cat out of the bag. I think what's happening is that now everybody's going to know where they're really coming from, and we've kept it a secret basically up till now, not out of the bag. So stop, don't talk anymore, because if you keep talking, then everybody's going to know how we truly feel on the inside. I think that is honest.
It's honest. Hey, brother, how you doing?
Want to say peace and blessings. How's it going, guys?
Doing good, doing good. I don't know how much you heard of what we're talking about. We're talking about some of the forerunners of the awakening. I'm starting with Dr. Fred Price, and when he shook the Christian world, when he came out with that sermon in 1997 about race, religion, and racism.
Yeah, and I followed him for quite some time, and a lot of people may not be aware about. And I posted inside the comment section about the sacrifice that he made.
Yes,
the message that he gave was a 1-year message, right? It was a series of over, I want to say, easily 53, 54 messages. And when he did that series, he was the number one televangelist in the world. He was number one in the world. And many really don't understand the magnitude of what he had sacrificed, because he began to be ostracized. He was forced to step down from his ministry. His son took over, but then stepped down for a little bit because he was real young at the time.
Right.
He stepped down for a little bit, regathered, and then took on the mantle that was left behind from his dad, and been doing a great job with it. Taking the narrative to another level. Because he took that narrative and he went so far with it. And I believe this awakening allowed us to take it even further.
Exactly.
Baton, and take it to that next level. Kind of like what we talk about, like Candace Owens. Now, we're not here pumping up Candace Owens or Kanye West, but they took this discussion further, to a higher level, a higher awareness, to where now you have evangelicals, you have in those Christian spaces, many of them now questioning why are they giving this blind support for the 1948ers.
Exactly.
Now you see discussions that you thought that we would never get to see, but it all started really with like Dr. Price, also Dr. Emmanuel. A lot of people don't know that he was a pioneer. He had his program that started in like 1993. I remember when I came across his series and saw the work that he had put in at that time. And so these forerunners that kind of helped pave the way to make it our jobs that much more easier. And like I said, with his series, he called out evangelical preachers, called them out, for their racist responses to this first message that he had given. So also, real quick, he has a series. He wrote a book off of this. So it's a 3-part series, and sharing all his sources and how he come to the conclusion that he had come to.
And that series, I think, is still available. It's still available now, and it's still selling now.
Yeah.
And I had, and you're right. One of the people with Dr. Emmanuel, was one of the people came out of out of nowhere. I mean, in his video, I think he put it up somewhere that didn't get in talking to him that didn't get much publicity, but somebody else took it down, put it back up, and it went viral.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, that's part of the suppression to try to discourage the individual, because Sister Carol will tell you the stuff I was dealing with on Facebook, with how they were suppressing my lessons to making it where as though it was hard to do anything on there. Within 3 minutes, right, Sister Carol, within 3 minutes, they'll kick me off my own live. They'll throttle the bandwidth and everything. So someone with like that Black Lives Matter speech I did, someone posted it on their YouTube channel and they went viral on it. You know what I mean? I got some views on it, but others posted that video and they were getting far more. I mean, I have millions of views on TikTok, but I didn't post any of my videos. I can't even post my own teachings on TikTok. So that's why I just, you and I discuss this offline, but I just believe that Dr. Emmanuel and many of these guys are not being respected like they should because of the work that they put in, and they put in a lot of work.
And I am so glad, and I'm, the person who done it, I don't know who they were or what kind of platform they had, but I'm glad that they post those videos, because when I saw Dr. Emmanuel, it caused me, a person who's been in the ministry at that time was over 28 years, to go back, stop, and reread everything I ever thought I knew in Genesis when it comes to genealogy, and read and see it again, because he pointed out stuff I did not see. So those things like Dr. Emmanuel, Brother Price bringing out the racist point of views in the church, and he brought out stuff on the Schofield Bible, Drake Bible. I mean, he caused them to reach. Yeah, he caused them to republish the books and make a public apology.
Yes, he did. I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. But hello there, We Woke Now.
Hey, what's up, sis? How's it going?
I really had to step away for a moment. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, but his sermon caused them to make public apologies and republish their Bibles.
Yeah. So that's why for me, I give credit where credit is due. Unfortunately, sometimes we could be in a microwave type day and time that we live in, that people want things in a quick, fast, in a hurry. And like I said, what really made me think about Dr. Price is that he did a 1-year sermon. It was just the consistency in it, and it really shows that you cannot teach everything in one setting.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, to teach and share this information. You guys been on it. I mean, like last night, I was trying to keep the video down to 2 hours, but when you're teaching certain things, it's hard to cut it off,
Right.
because it's just that much information. And at the assembly, we've been walking through Genesis. It's now been 2 months, and we just got to chapter 9.
Yep, barely to 9.
Barely to 9. So
we're really in 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, so it's like and even then I can't. I'm going to get to some of the things that I missed on chapter 7, but I had to build it up and save it for other areas as I progress to Genesis. But the point being is that it's a lot of information out there. It's so much information, and you cannot teach this information in a 45-minute setting. It's just impossible. I mean, I used to do it, and it was just impossible to do. And now you can see why the Hebrew Israelites, right, the teachers, right, they were spending not just hours, but it'll be an entire day, discussing, certain teachings within the text. So even the 1948ers, hijacked an identity, but they have a process that they take 7 years to go through the law and the prophets, passage by passage. whether we agree with them or not, but they do have a system of
Right.
how they approach the text that our ancestors used to do. Right? They took that from our ancestors. But today, as you guys know, you in church today, you have a message over 45 minutes. Actually, you're taught keep your messages no more than 45 minutes.
Right.
But I have learned that since we've made the shift, people are actually wanting me to keep it going, you know what I mean? Because of the information, it's really an eye opener. So I can understand. And I mean, for him to do that consistently for what, a year? It was a little more than a year
It's
that he
more than
did
a
it
year.
for. And every Sunday he taught, something new, but still the overall message was showing that we are the people of the
People of
book
the book.
and
Right.
showing the racism within the Christian circles and how some of the opposition he had to deal with. And like I said, again, this is a great discussion. And I just hope and pray that many of our brothers and sisters just really start respecting, those that had laid down the foundation to get us to where we are, because many of them are being disrespected, whether it's Dr. Price, whether it's Dr. Emmanuel, and even from the Christian perspective, Dr. Martin Luther King. It's some of the things
Yeah.
that people are coming up with is just ridiculous, about things that the government put in place to try to undermine him. So I just, for me, it's just seeing how the scriptures talks about the generations disrespecting the elders and the honorable.
That's
Amen.
correct.
Amen. I agree completely with you because we don't know the things they had to do and go through to pave the way so we can get to the point that we're in the age of more information. Like Daniel said, the information will be increasing this time. But to get to this time, we had to have certain liberties that we did not have. And they paid the way for us.
Yeah. Now imagine all what we had sacrificed and the ridicule we faced. But think about it on the level that Dr. Price had to face. Because again, he was the number one televangelist on television at the time. He was more popular than Billy Graham, all of those guys at that time. TD Jakes, when TD Jakes was still coming up, but he was more popular than all of them.
Yes, he was.
And I think all of us been there. Grandma, getting us ready for church. Guess what? She have his message playing while we're getting ourselves together to go to church.
I didn't miss a Sunday.
Yeah. So he sacrificed a lot, and he stood his ground, and you can imagine the pressure he had to deal with, and from the the different layers of disrespect. And I can relate to it, and you guys can relate to it. I mean, I had people that I thought was friends, pastor friends of mine, that I helped keep their ministry open by sowing into their ministry, all kinds of things that laboring for their ministries. And as soon as I began to make this transition, they began to try to undermine, began to do a lot of talking. And Sister Carol, I'm not sure if we was connected at the time, but the Black Lives Matter message, when I said I was going to teach at the Black Lives Matter, some of my own pastor friends were posting ugly messages about me on Facebook for doing that. So imagine like on his level, I dealt with the ridicule at the level where I am with my so-called pastor friends, but imagine at his level, him talking to his wife on what he's about to do, him talking to his leadership about what he's about to do for the series that he's about to present to them. So you can imagine the pressure that he was under, and he stood consistently for over a year teaching the same message, even when people started leaving his ministry.
And I put the picture back up here. I rewind it to show you his auditorium and how it looked at the beginning. This is sermon number 3 in his series.
Yeah.
When you get to sermon number 10, it didn't look like this.
It emptied out.
When he got to serving them 10, you look at these back rows, you didn't see all these
Mhm.
people on it.
Yeah.
Because to teach the truth is hard, and some people can't do it, and a lot of people can't stomach it.
Exactly what we talked
Because
about last night again. Remember, when you decided to step out and start teaching the truth, they make you anti when it's them
exactly,
who is anti, and they
Yeah.
run.
Yeah. And you know what's so powerful about him too is their ministry was right in the heart. It's right in the heart of LA,
L.A.
Crenshaw.
Right?
yep.
Exactly.
They never moved it. It's still
Right.
there to this day.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
right in the heart. This auditorium, right? This assembly, this building is
Mm-hmm.
right there in Crenshaw.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. I
And
can.
so one of the gems I helped him with his DNA. He has a platform called Study Truth. He started his ministry in his ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him talking, say he started off in his ministry. He was getting ready to get to be ordained there. Something happened. He didn't. He went off to another church to help a friend out, and then he came into the awakening. But he started off in this ministry in
Mm-hmm.
LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of celebrities was a member of this church.
Yeah.
All the black celebrities were
Yeah.
members of his church in L.A.
And what happened? They started jumping ship.
That's right.
That's the sad thing that uh they jump ship. And I
Mm-hmm.
just too bad he couldn't kind of live long enough to see
His
where the
son.
awakening is right now and
Mm-hmm.
seeing how his son has truly taken the mantle and run with it.
Right.
And you know, and it's been a blessing. And I'll just say something real simple here. I'm not sure if I shared it with you, Berean, scholar, but Sister Carol knows this. But I've been in contact with with Dr. Price's son.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been in communication, and he knows what's going on in this awakening, and he really appreciates. I mean, literally, how I came in contact with him is someone that's connected to his ministry told him about the videos that was being posted, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even realize he told me he saw the video when I was sitting in my car. And I don't know if you remember Sister Carol, and I was
Mm-hmm.
giving respect to Dr. Price,
Yes.
you know, because at that time, a lot of the people in the awakening was really, disregarding him and
Right.
others because he called himself a Christian, and
Mm-hmm.
they were really belittling him. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I paid homage to and gave proper respect, saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do that.
Correct.
Basically what we're doing here. And the word got back to uh,
Damn.
Dr. Price Jr. And we've been in communication.
And you played one of his sermons on your channel,
Yeah,
and he was in the chat, and we had no idea that was him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
glad you brought.
keep doing what you're doing, my brother. Even with these discussions, and the reason why I'm saying this is, you never know who's watching,
Mm-hmm.
and all it takes is one person, and you would never think that uh, the very people like you better not laugh, man. MC Hammer, right? Can't touch this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You would never think that the message is reaching those spaces.
And Willie
Wow.
D. Don't forget him.
That's right. Willie D gave me a shout out. You know, so it's reaching those spaces. Kwame Brown gave
Yep.
me a shout out. So a lot of them are watching, but they have to, because of their jobs, they have to keep secret. They're watching us under fake accounts.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching us from afar, but it's so many that are following what we're doing.
And that's what I wanted to do, because I wanted to, like you said, give honor with the people to honor, because these people help shape our awakening on the world stage, not just in America, because it's people who listen to this man globally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Globally, there's people now in Canada, across seas, who are hearing these words and say, "Hey, I'm part of the diaspora. I'm part of the people who
Yeah.
got spread out in four countries. I'm part of those people,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to hear the
Yes.
word."
Yes.
Exactly.
And think about what Dr. Price Jr. had done when he shared his DNA,
Hmm.
you know, showing that he is an Israelite, you
Yeah.
know, and that's why I had to show that, you know, and then the method, I mean, his approach, the way he broke it down, just for him to, his father to lay the foundation, and then his son to take it to that next level and revealing that through DNA, he is an Israelite
Correct.
in front of his assembly. And of course, he has a mixed assembly,
Mhm.
and he did not pull his punches.
He
At
didn't.
He
all.
did not hold back.
Nope.
And they were cheering him on. There was even a couple of 1948ers in the crowd.
I
That's
saw
right.
with their flags.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yep.
yeah,
Yes. Yep. With their
yeah,
flags, waving
yeah.
them.
And that's why I started off with Dr. Price, and then that was back in 1997. And I finished off with his son, because I was going to show it from him preaching that. In fact, if you watch some, they glimpsed over to his wife. His son was sitting right beside her as a young
Mm-hmm.
teenager. But him preaching that, here's his son.
Did the fun stuff. Israel was already important to me, but now it is so much more. And here's why. I want to sit there for a second. This is my DNA. And it says Israelite. It says Israelite. This is my DNA. This is not theory. This is DNA. Okay. Now let's look at this. Again, I love Israel. Always have. Why? Well, I'm called to walk in love because God is love. And the Bible commands us to love his elect of old. But when you find out you're one of them,
I'm not a politician. I'm not about a religion. I'm an Israelite. Don't call me black no more. And what?
He said, I'm one of them.
You know, and like I said, and one thing I will say to add, one thing about him, you know, you're safe. You don't have to put layers or overlays on his videos, because he made it clear he's not one of those that get caught up in it.
Okay, great.
So I
Great.
give you clarity on that, because I have several of his videos on the channel. You see some of the clips that I've used, and actually it helped reintroduce him in certain spaces.
Good.
You know, he's gotten a lot of more attention from the awakening and all that. You know, so he will not flag your video.
Awesome. For those of you who don't understand, because we have to put overlays, and that wasn't a bad video. We had to do stuff like that so they don't click us and YouTube take our video down, because we're trying to share the message.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that.
Yeah. So like I said, family, just we have to just be respectful of those that laid the foundation, paved the way. You know, of course, there's going to always be something that you disagree with, but it doesn't take away from the work that was laid down. You know, I'm sure not everyone agree with what I teach, but guess what? You still have to respect the fact that, you know, we're putting our livelihood and everything, we're laying it down.
Right.
You know, we're putting our reputations on the line, you know, from jobs and everything. And I can say here, I was working for AT&T. I don't have a problem with mentioning their names. Worked for them for almost 10 years as a project manager in upper management. And they got rid of an entire department to get rid of me.
Wow.
Literally, because of me giving that Black Lives Matter message. So they couldn't just fire me. So their way of getting rid of me was they shut down an entire department. Talk to Elder Hall. He was working at the FAA when I was working at it from a different, we was on different companies, but he would tell you how his company was completely upset on what AT&T had done, and everyone was trying to figure out what happened. And then my director, my boss, called me almost 8 months later and told me the truth of what happened, on why they let me go, why they shut down the whole department, why they took the approach, because of word got to them about the message I did at Black Lives Matter, the speech. So, it's not an easy walk. And like I said, I was, not trying to get into the details, but I was in upper management as a PM, and coming out the door, AT&T messed up I believe they purposely messed up my security clearance. Because I had a high level top secret security clearance with them, and they hold your clearances when you work for these places, and they purposely messed up my clearance. So when I was transitioning to another company, I don't even have a problem with saying the names. I was getting ready to transition to Amazon, right? And they went to pull my clearance and found they discovered that they put my clearance in inactive status. When companies normally don't do that. If you don't, if you have a clearance, whether it's a top secret, confidential, or for your eyes only, you have a certain period of time that once you leave a project, leave a company, you have a time frame that you have to work for another company in that same slot. So with a top secret security clearance, you have a 2-year window. If not, it'll go by default into inactive status. So they screwed my clearance over. Thank the Most High, I was able to go through the certain processes to get it back, to get it restored. But the point that I'm making is, the things that the powers that be will go through to try to suppress you. So I'm just dealing with it. I dealt with it on my level. I'm not going to the level of a Dr. Price. I wasn't a world-renowned, speaker. You know what I mean? I was, I'm a local pastor, you know what I mean? And of course the video went viral, but I'm a local pastor. Did not reach the levels at that time in the spaces that he's reached. And for him to go through what he had gone through and endure what he had to endure is nothing but the Most High. And that's why I say again, keep doing what you're doing, and really appreciate even this session here to pay homage to those that have labored before us.
Absolutely.
And that just goes back to what Sister Carol said earlier. Just because you stood up and told the truth and who you are in the Most High, people will come at you and call you the enemy.
Exactly.
And that's what happened to all of us. And for those of you here, and you know that you have loved ones that you've been praying for, loved ones that you're trying to reach, and they look at you like you're strange, like you got a extra eyebrow or something on your head when you come in the room.
You lost your way. That's
yeah,
the thing.
you lost your way. But keep going, keep pressing into the word, and keep sharing, because you never know who's hearing and who's watching. They're watching the way you walk, not just what you're talking about, the way you walk.
Right.
And they're hearing, and they'll see the difference.
Well, this also proves.
Go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it also just proves to you how powerful these people are. It's like to say, Michael Rappaport would say, we don't own all these things, but you do. You have your hands in every single things of every type of corporation, every type of system in this country and world. And when someone steps out of bounds in their mind, they know how to come to take you from what you're from your resources of what you have. And the first thing I like to do is attack is your finance. Because it happened to me too. Similar situation, a job. But that's what they do. Anything they feel that they feel is so much of a threat, that have a gathering of people listening to you, especially now we have social media, they can look at you clearly. And that's when they want to come and close you down, or in their mind, close your mouth down so you can't speak anymore. And the first thing they do is attack your finances.
Absolutely. 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 And again, that's why we got to keep doing what we're doing,
Exactly.
in spite of what we're dealing with. And for me, what really uh, encouraged me was when you read about Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, um, in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? Remember, he had his disciples and all praying for him and all, and they did not do what he asked them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that stands out in that whole text, it says he went a little further. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
in spite of having to, press beyond the norm, those that are laboring with you, not pressing in the way that you may want them to press, but
Mm-hmm.
he still pressed and went further, and that's when he just made it clear it's not my will, but your will be done,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that all of us have to just, take that same approach, no matter how hard it may get. There's still a ways, that we can, or a space that we could press a little further, to get us beyond where we are.
Right. Exactly. Which proves that you walk in the right walk.
That's
Because they
right.
wouldn't attack you if you weren't.
What's that old saying? If they start being concerned if they stop talking,
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
That's
As long
right.
as they're talking, whether it's good or bad, you know that you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
if they
right.
stop talking, then that's where you have to be concerned, because it's like,
That's right.
are you really still having the same impact?
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who've been raised in the church, we've heard all our lives about how we're going to be persecuted for his faith and how they persecuting us because of Christianity. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think we got I didn't see any persecution.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. No.
But when
Exactly.
you go against one of the largest religion there is on earth today, which is Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the persecution is going to come.
That's right.
And you're right, because those people who are saying, "Wait a minute, you that's not the Bible. You lost your mind." No,
Exactly.
this is the Bible. This is who we are, and this is who the Bible's written to. It's written to Hebrews,
Exactly.
not
Right.
to American.
And
Nope.
that the wake up call, and that's why, everything that we could think of is in the scriptures, family. Every word of encouragement, every situation you can ever go through, it's in the scriptures, right? And my what they say, you'll come to Jesus moment, right?
Right.
My come to Jesus moment, you know what I mean? With dealing with the scriptures is when Christ, when Hamashiach had to remind his disciples, he didn't have a pity party for them. He made it clear that they were going to be put out of the places of worship. They were going to be put out of the synagogues, all for the sake of this truth.
Right.
So it made it clear to him, like, hey, they did it to we'll do it to him, and that no servant is greater than our the master, so to speak.
That's
And
right.
that we're going to have to go through it too. And that's the thing that kind of jolted me, when I was reading in John, and reading how that word that he gave to his disciples, telling them that they will kill them, put them out of the places of worship. What's that, chapter 16, when he says that, he said they will put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time will come that whosoever kill you will think that he doeth the service of the Father.
Right.
Right. So that lets you know just how thick that deception is. So, and he made it clear that they do these things because they don't even know who the Father is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know who he is. But the key is, that was my kind of wake up, kind of like my moment that the Most High kind of did a Job moment. Like, okay, you've been praying, you've been going through this thing. He told Job twice, get up off your knees and be a man. You know
Right.
what I mean? He literally
Right.
told Job twice, be a man, get up off your knees, because there's a time and everything for prayer, right? But then you have to let those prayers be answered. You know what I mean? So you have to function. And the Most High told me to get up off my knees and do his will.
Right.
All of this comes with the territory.
Correct.
Amen. That's true. That's true. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on, and thank you guys who are watching. I hope that you got something out of this. I pray that each and every one of you understand who you are and the power that the Most High has given you to influence everybody who is around you. We have people right now that need to wake up. Time is growing nigh. Things are shaping up. Things are happening. And we want to be ready when he come back for us. And, I'm ready to see him. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready for it. But I want to thank you guys for being a part of this, being on this time. Hope you would like this, share this, repost it. Please click the notification button so you can hear when we do anything else. And most of all, that you be blessed and you walk in the trueness of the Most High. Thank you guys. Shalom.
Shalom.
What do you think about this topic? Remember to be a Berean scholar, as it is written in the book of Acts 17 verses 11 to 12. Now the Bereans were more noble-minded than the Thessalonians, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if these teachings were true. It's time to deepen your understanding and see your reflection within the sacred pages. Please click subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay up to date with the Berean Scholar channel.